Hey gang, wanted to show you how to properly tiller your Oneida Eagle bow, and in this case we're dealing with the Black Eagle, the newer ones here. And when I say tiller, that means you want the distance between here and here on the string and here, specifically the distance between here and there and here exactly the same, as close to the millimeter as you can get to ensure consistent shooting. So what you'll need is a ruler. I prefer millimeter, and then you need your Allen hex tool right there, which I like this one right here. You can get this at any kind of store. I would avoid the Harbor Freight and Walmart ones. You need a really good one with some forged, components like that. So as we're looking at here, we're going to get a measurement and see how close we are. Right here we're at 11.5 centimeters, and what I'm doing is just holding it at a reference point right up against the bottom of the circle right here. So we're at 11.5 right here, and if I'm not mistaken we're a little bit lower right here, at just under 11.5. So at this point don't try and guess where, if it's 112 millimeters. Try and eyeball it this first time around. So what we see is that this top distance is shorter than the bottom. So we have a bigger distance at the bottom part of the bow and a smaller distance at the top of the bow. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to tighten the bottom lever to try and square it up. And because we're making small adjustments, the manual says that you don't typically have to loosen this one. And again, we've kind of eyeballed it as we see now, so you probably would have already tightened that. But what we'll do, we'll just go ahead and turn this a half one and see what we got. Okay, so I've tightened our bottom limb a half a turn, and we're going to see right now if we've got any closer. Okay, so and remember, you don't need to get super accurate until you get it really laid down. So we are around 11.5 centimeters, and right here, remember this one was off, and still looks like we're a little shy of our 11.5 millimeter mark. So what I'll do is I'll tighten this lower one again about a half turn and see where we are. I've tightened the lower one again a half turn, and when I tighten it real quick, what I'll show you is that when you tighten it, these cams will move opposite. So if you tighten it, this one might come this way and this one might come this way. So as you're tightening on one, you'll notice that the top one will move too. So what I did was tighten it a half turn. So let's see where we are. Right here, hopefully my camera will come in focus. So again, I'm just kind of making a reference point right there, as long as you find your point right there. And as you can see, I'm just under 11.5 millimeters. So let's go to the top, and I am just under 11.5 millimeters, but it looks like I could go a little bit more because the bottom one seemed to be a little bit more, and this one is definitely in between the two hash marks. So what we'll do is go tighten this a quarter of a turn and then see what we have. Okay, so with those adjustments we are on the money. We're in between the hash marks and actually just on one side of the hash marks there. And then we move it right here and notice that we are also in the hash marks right there. So as this one stands, this bow is tillered correctly. You could probably go ahead and snug this down while you're at it, but hope that helps some people out, and stay tuned.